biblical counselor. Again, I'm Dr. Dave Jones, and today's episode is going to be entitled Blessed. What would you do? The scripture that we're using consistently through the series of 2 Timothy 4:2, where Paul encourages us to preach the word, be prepared in season and out of season. So let's see how you'd handle this one. Every Sunday after the church service, there is a prepared dinner for the purpose of providing fellowship for those in attendance. Kathy approached me and asked for a few minutes of my time. I came to realize that Kathy didn't understand why the people of the church don't like her or want to share fellowship with her. Her husband is a choir member and is welcomed by everyone from whom he comes into contact. She thought that no one would notice or care if she was there or not. So that's the presentation issue. Real quick, real short, real distinct. What would you do? How would you handle something like this? Well, and you're in a place where there's a bunch of other people around too, and chances are people are watching and they're determining that, well, if Kathy is talking to you and you are the counselor of the church, well, maybe Kathy's having some problems. I wonder what kind of problems Kathy's having. So how would you handle this? Let's take a break, put me on hold, and when we come back, I'll tell you what I did. So you don't have too much to go on, but this is the steps that I took. I immediately asked Kathy if she would go with me to one of the Sunday school classrooms, and the two of us could just sit and talk. Now understand, when we went to a classroom, we did not close the door, but we sat in a position to where we were noticed that we were in there talking, because I didn't want to create any kind of impropriety behind closed doors with another woman. So I made sure that we were protected from that. So I asked Kathy to give me some reasons and examples of why she thought that. She answered that she didn't think she was doing anything wrong. She was polite and friendly, but no one had welcomed her in church and no one had invited her to any women's events. She felt that going to church was a waste of her time and she was not getting anything out of it but hurt and discouragement. I pursued her line of thinking by asking why she comes to church in the first place. Was she there for the friendship of others, for the entertainment of the musicians, the relief of guilt for not going, and just why does she attend? Silence was her response. She didn't have an answer. She said she never thought of a reason for going to church. I then asked her if she would like to know why I went to church, and she was excited to know my reason. I shared with her the reason I go to church was not necessarily to hear what the pastor had to say in his sermon, or to hear what or how the choir sounded, or to enjoy dinner afterwards. I told her I went expecting a blessing, and that my blessing was not necessarily from the message, or a song, or the food, but from whatever God wanted to use to give me that blessing. I explained to her that I might marvel at how a husband shows the gentle love for his wife, or the look in the eyes of people when communicating with one another, or an example that the pastor had used in his sermon. I told her that I never know before the service of where it was coming from, but it would come, and it always did. I explained the vertical relationship I have with God was far more important than that of the horizontal relationship with those around me. In our continued sessions, I encouraged her to try it and let me know every Sunday what her blessing was for that day. For the past 6 months, she has done so, and others have noticed her contentment and welcoming from her experience. Kathy just recently confided in her Sunday school class that since she has started to apply James 1, verse 2, quote, to count it all joy when you fall into various trials, end quote, that she now looks at all her trials as a signal from God that He is helping her to grow in Him.